What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Beck Easy.
Hi, everybody. It's your girl, Johan.
Hey, guys. It's Trell, and this is
The Team. And we are talking home ownership this week. Shout out to our special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Kayla Dayle. I am a local real estate agent. I'm also, my handle is Katie Modern Living on Instagram. So check me out.
Check her out.
Local, about to go global.
Do business. If you out of town, you need some help, virtual.
Right.
We'll make that happen, right?
Facts.
Absolutely.
Period. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of The Team. So how was everybody's weekends? Kayla, you want to go first?
So yesterday was my goddaughter's birthday.
Yes.
So she turned 4 years old, my baby. So
Shout out to
Marley, yes.
If you've listened
the
to
boss.
us, her mom has been on multiple times. Renee, our friend. So shout out to Marley Bud for turning 4.
Yeah, so that basically was my weekend. And today I'm here.
Yes,
We're
it's
happy
lit.
to
It's
have you.
lit. How about you, Joanne? Why did I say Joanne?
My weekend was kind of quiet again. I don't really have that much going on in my life.
Okay. Work and carrying on.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yep.
Yep. Last weekend, my brother came in town.
Right, you guys have a
he's
very
truck driver,
festive
yeah,
weekend.
we went to the casino that Friday. And honestly, they had the temperatures. They had a guy standing there checking to make sure, like, if your temperature wasn't right, he was saying, excuse me, go back out that door.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, make you sanitize. Everybody had to have masks on. They had people walking around making sure people kept their masks on. They had all the wipes to wipe the machine. So they was playing crap. So I was like, I'm not doing all that. I'll sit here at the penny machine.
Did
so
you
I'm
win?
playing. Yeah, so I'm playing. And I'm like, I'm going to win $200 tonight. I said it randomly. I'm like, I'm going to win.
Speaking
and I
of
won
girl.
$300.
Ooh.
Yeah, a little $20.
That's so good.
I was in here yelling. I know that people was like, it's only $300. Relax. I was
It's something to me.
I was
But remember
excited.
the first time we went, though, it was like my birthday or whatever. And like, as soon as we sat down at the slots, I like won. It was
yes,
like
I
less
remember
than
that.
$100. But I was like, I can
Money
see how
is
people
money.
be
Listen,
addicted.
yeah.
Okay, exactly. So we did that. Then we did some family bowling the next night. So it was cool. And even bowling was very nice. It was like every other lane. You had to keep your mask on the whole time. So I felt safe because, I'm like mad paranoid with everything going on. But
Yeah, I feel like for the most part, the places that I've gone, the people have been pretty on it as far as taking temperatures and, just having like good COVID precautions in place.
right.
So shout out to y'all.
It'd be those places where it's like we open, but they don't do the COVID precautions. And
Right.
It's like, This is why I didn't want to come here in the first place. But yeah, it was good. We just had brunch. We went to brunch. Shout out to our lovely friend, Kayla Rochelle. R.I.P. to you.
Yes.
It's been 3 years too long, but we always celebrate her in light. And we love her. And yeah, we got a little lit at
So we're a little lit.
Brunch.
Bear with us, please. Bear with me.
They're a little lit.
Bear with me.
Bear with me.
You had your cranberry juice. Shout out to the fast.
Because the margaritas will taste like juice, and I think I drink a little too much.
Yeah, and he gave us a to-go cup. So
Oh, that's nice.
That was shocking.
Customer service.
Yeah.
it was
I'm like, let me just ask casually, like as if I got like a Sprite or something, and see
Right.
what happens.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And he brought him over.
I mean,
so.
he better. At least he could have done.
Listen. Yeah, we'll write our review on the
Right.
Yelp.
Look out for Joe's review.
Yeah. Joe, you got a line for us?
I do have a line.
Trout, did you say what you did this weekend?
I didn't, but yeah, I did pretty much the same thing as all of you guys, including Kayla.
right.
It was a nice balance
That's
of
cute.
work and self-care.
Yeah.
The little girls, they had like a little spa party, so it was cute. I did some kitty
Their little
facials.
robes. It was so cute.
They're so cute.
I love it.
Nice
So-
chill weekend.
yes, Joe.
Okay, so I think you guys can get this.
Okay.
It's not rap. It's kind of like, it's R&B.
Oh, that's a surprise
Okay.
for you.
This person is deceased.
Okay.
This person was huge.
Oh, I know who it is.
Huge.
Aaliyah.
Eh.
Oh. I
Settle down.
So here it goes.
know. Okay.
A room is still a room, even when there's nothing there but glue.
Yes, Luther Vandross.
Yo, I
Do you have another one? I didn't even get a chance.
I just was gonna say,
In a house
a chair is still a chair. That's what the man was. But in my mind, I'm like, you like she. Did you say female?
No, I did not.
Because for some reason I had in my mind female, so I wasn't sure about Luther. But that's the first thing that popped in my head.
The artist is deceased. I'm sorry.
I was ready too.
You know what we're gonna do from now on? Let the guests go first.
Go first.
I was ready. I wasn't gonna guess that anyway, but
but still, it's
yeah,
the
it's the principal.
It's the principal.
Well, that's them.
Yeah.
You guys should at least let her try.
I mean, it was bad.
I don't know the
I ain't
song,
been
but I know it is Luther.
Because
That's the name of it.
All I know is a chair is still a chair.
A house is not a home.
Even if there is
Yes.
no one sitting
He kills
there.
that song. Still in love.
Shout out to Luther.
What was the relevant?
Did you
Skinny
guess
and fat.
Good job,
What
Danny.
was the reasoning for that?
A house, we're talking about real estate.
Oh, I got you. That was good.
Whatever.
That was good.
You can buy a house
very
and
insightful.
get a home.
Right.
True.
I can talk about that too.
That is so cute. Yes. Interior
right.
design. That was mad cute. I respect you.
You know,
for
I
that.
try.
So any hot topics?
Yes.
We got a few.
The biggest hot topic,
Period.
January 20th, we got a new big boy in office.
It was like a feeling of relief.
Yeah.
when I was watching
Honestly.
it. Like for that day, it just was like, oh,
Joseph R. Biden
thank you so
is
much.
now the 46th president.
Yes, he had a wonderful speech.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kamala.
He had a little scripture in there.
Even the reverend that was there that did the
from Delaware.
benediction.
I was
Yeah, he
working
was
all
really good.
inauguration, so I have to go back and like catch
you
up
didn't
on-
watch it?
and catch up on all the clips and stuff.
I was
Me and the baby
working
was
too, but
watching.
at the school they had it in the cafeteria, and then I have a personal Chromebook, so I had the earpiece and carried my Chromebook everywhere and had the inauguration playing
Word,
because I love stuff like that. So
I know I should have had it playing in the treatment room.
Yeah, that'd have been nice. But I really respect Mike Pence for still going
showing up.
because they said it was between Donald threw his own like farewell party. They said it was only 200 people there. So
Right,
He wanted
'cause he
a
didn't, like,
military
show up,
send-off, Yeah.
Yeah, like
And the Pentagon said, nah, we're not doing that.
right. You better find somewhere
Right.
yeah, take your little self and all them people. But I respect Mike Pence for still going.
I do too. He was there.
Yeah.
He participated. They did the walk off like by my G. And
You figure by the end of this, he was just like, I'm sick of your shit.
Right.
Type of thing. But I saw that it was like Trump is like the first president in like
in 100
over 100
yeah.
something years
50-something years, I
to
think,
not show up for the inauguration. But he did leave a note.
Well, yeah,
Not that
that's
anybody
what I was worried
tradition.
about.
Not that anybody cares.
That's a
Right.
tradition too. So he did one of the traditions.
Right.
Because honestly, I don't think nobody cares that he wasn't there.
And I guess Wednesday he had said at his little thing like, we have a new president and
Oh, did he?
and hopefully that they do well. Yeah, he
Oh,
did.
that was cute.
Yeah, he knew he had to do something.
Right.
I didn't care that he didn't go. The vibe
I
was
don't think anybody cares.
A lot of
that he
they
didn't
said
go.
some of the politicians was like, we're actually happy that he wasn't
That's what
here
I'm saying.
because the vibe would have been definitely
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been on him. It
Yeah.
wouldn't have been on Biden. It would have been on him
Him.
and his
antics.
theatrics. Yeah.
Right.
So it was. I just love. It was all love. And I remember I said in the last episode how we just forget that Bush was a shitty president, and I was just.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was happy to see him
I know.
and like mingling with the other presidents and
I
them
know.
greeting
I love-
everybody.
I love the meme that's like Bush gonna find
Michelle,
Michelle.
right?
and he did.
I love that
Yeah,
meme.
exactly.
She saved his reputation, but
Yeah.
then
And
She really
even after, so because of Corona, like everything couldn't be the same. Like they couldn't have the ball like they did.
Right.
So they did like a virtual concert
Concert.
type of thing, and then they had like a moment where it was Bill Clinton, George Bush, and Obama, like the ex-presidents, like just talking about.
Yeah, I saw
we're
that.
able to stand here and talk to each other, even though we might have different views and opinions, whatever, and still say, congratulations.
Now
we
that I
wish you
think
the
about
best.
it, one of the presidents didn't
Carter.
Yes,
Because
probably
he's
his
old.
health.
They
yeah,
said he mad old and
yeah,
Corona.
he did say that he was going to
was planning on
attend.
going, yeah.
Yeah. So now that I think about it, Carter wasn't there, but
So the fashion was on point.
Yes.
Okay, Michelle.
Yes, yes.
Honestly, you know what? It's crazy because I was like, it's their inauguration, but the Obamas like
They stole the show,
They
right?
stole the show.
They
definitely
shining
stole the show.
forever, like forever.
I mean, she just looked so
For our forever
poised and
people.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Her hair was on point.
On
Her outfit
point.
was beautiful.
Did you see the flip?
I know.
Compared to the last one, because the last
Yeah.
one she had a little bun. I'm like, this one she letting it flow in the
Right.
wind.
Because you figure they free.
Right.
Yeah.
They
They could
free
wear
to
whatever
be
they
who
want.
they want to be right now
Yes.
without,
Mhm.
granted, they still gonna get some scrutiny. 'Cause
Right.
Yeah.
Why not? But they're free to just be.
She just looked so cute. Even Kamala had her nice washing set popping.
You know what?
Deep purple.
Excuse me. Like if you look at when Michelle first came into office and her transformation, I'm
Yeah.
just very interested to see what her
Kamala's gonna
transformation is going to look
Me
like.
too. Me too.
Because she might add some clip-ins.
She might.
I wasn't a fan of the outfit that they picked for her. I think that
Look,
she's
so-
like a nicely shaped woman. They could have did something a
They
little
coulda
more
tailored her
flattering.
coat.
Yeah.
Everybody was like going crazy. I did not like her coat
I
at
didn't like
all.
it.
It could have been tailored. It was a little frumpy.
I like the colors. Like Nancy
colors definitely.
Paluzzi, her trench coat and them heels.
I like
love
Nancy.
The colors. I love the
I like
colors.
Nancy. She's
That's-
always coming with the shit.
no.
I like
Even
her.
Hillary.
Big
like
hands.
they all, I had seen a meme and it was like, "Hey ladies, make sure you wear jewel colors." And
Yeah,
then everybody
jewel
had like,
tones. Yeah,
you know,
they
the
all
jewel
kind of did
tones.
like some shade of purple, which I love because I love
Yeah.
all shades of purple.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
Jilly did it big for her,
did.
big day. Jilly was
She
cute.
did look cute too,
I
with the
wasn't
matching
a
mask.
fan.
When they
You
matched
wasn't a
the
fan of
mask.
Jilly's?
I wasn't a fan. I mean, blue
I wasn't a fan of her hair, and you know what? I think it's just white hair. It just don't.
No, it's shifted.
Thick.
It don't hit.
hair.
It don't hit like that.
It's thin, so she could have added
Yeah.
some clip-ins, but I mean, she's Dr.
I know
Jill.
her feet
I'ma
was
give her a
hurting
pass.
all day.
No,
I know
her feet
was
did look
hurting
like,
again.
yeah.
And it was going up and down them steps.
and walking.
What?
I would be
Yeah,
like, can we
Missy.
just, you go walk and I'll stay in the car.
Right.
This
Honestly.
me.
I'll wait from the car.
But it just was a good moment.
It was.
I'm
Yeah.
excited
I
for
felt
them.
relieved. I felt at peace.
Definitely.
You know, I'm like, do your thing, Joe.
Yeah.
Make
And
us-
he got
right.
right to work.
Yeah.
He
Right.
he signed about 17 different
Executive
orders that
orders.
same night. He sworn in his staff, and when he sworn in his staff, he
He
was
let
like,
them know.
He did. I was sitting there
Yeah, I
like,
see something that I don't
he was
know.
like,
if
I
it
will
was-
fire
he
you
actually
on the
said-
spot.
Okay, yeah, I
He
saw
was
that,
like,
but I
we
didn't know
are
if that
treating
he
people-
actually
each
said
other
that.
with respect. He was like, and if I hear that you are not treating somebody well, I will fire you on the
Yeah.
spot.
And
He
I
said
love
we,
it, and I
we
love
are
it.
serving. Because I always
That's
say
what- yeah.
that a leader has to know how to serve.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just basically saying that we're serving the people. So if you're
He
not
was like,
cut up for the job,
they pay our pays
Salary.
my salary, they pay your salary. They don't work for us. We work for them.
yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah, it's all about
And-
setting the tone.
Mhm.
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
And just to reiterate, I think what we have already maybe I hope we stressed over our last several episodes, like we're not like Joe Biden is like the savior.
Right.
No.
Right.
However, we are very happy that we are stepping into
A new era.
a new era, a new light, hopefully.
Right.
Things are shifting in a more positive direction, hopefully. So I think that's what Black people as a whole are celebrating.
right.
And you have an opportunity for your opinion and your voice to actually
To
even
actually
be heard.
yeah.
Like you can at least say, all right, well, I'm able to voice it. With
Right.
our last president, 45, it wasn't even no chance.
Right.
We can at least say, like, this is the things that we want.
Yeah, we're happy to be going back to regular racism. We're happy to just be going back to
Because
regular
they try to bring it
racism.
back to slavery days real quick.
Slavery.
I was
And
like,
I
am
was
I
a-
going to have to get licensed to carry a firearm?
said
And I
regular
think that our
racism.
VP is going to be that check and balances for
Yeah.
people of color
Absolutely.
to really like keep him accountable. Like this is what we promised the people. This is what we have to.
But this
hold
is what
true
we
to.
said, Joe. But Joe, I feel
Yeah.
like I could just see it. I could
Yeah.
just see it.
You know,
They outside Joe.
They outside for real.
right.
Right.
But I appreciate if that's the person, and he chose her to be that person. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate his way
Yeah.
of thinking.
And he older, so he's like, I need
Right.
somebody there that's
the
gonna
fresh,
keep me on my
right.
toes.
Exactly.
So we'll double back on Joe and
Yeah, we'll see how
Kamala
they're
and
doing.
see
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Well-
I pray for their first 100 days, and hopefully,
Yeah.
I'm already rooting for him because I heard that I guess he wants to give $300 a month, like a continuous check for people with their children, $300 per kid.
Dang, I need to have a baby.
Right, and $250.
I need that.
Listen, this is my first time experiencing this, so I don't know how to
well,
act.
for the non-parents at the table,
I know, right?
How quick
And
can I get
250
pregnant?
for kids. I think $250 for kids 6 and older, like a continuous monthly
Okay, I'll
check.
settle for
Is it
250. That's
retroactive?
cool.
Listen, I'll settle for 75.
Honestly.
Something is something. Okay.
I showed back
That's
that
enough
they
to cover
said
AJ snacks.
$3,000 per kid. I said, what y'all need $3,000 for?
I said kids are expensive.
$3,000, my nigga.
Imagine
That could be
somebody.
spent easily.
No, imagine somebody
Easily.
got 5 kids in one household.
my
they
God.
racking up.
God bless
Yeah,
them.
but
They
the
not
thing
spending that
is,
3K
that
on those
money
kids.
is going.
That's true.
You obviously you're not spending all that money on your kids. Clearly, nobody's
Right,
doing
right.
that. However,
We
that
taking a
money
trip
is
to
going.
Disney.
Hopefully you're buying a house, right? Putting a down payment on a house. Calling Kayla to show you some houses.
Let them know.
Make
That's
saving
what you
some
need to
coins.
use
Got
it
it.
for.
We need a home.
You know?
Yes.
Calling me.
Kim, he's staying in the project.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you was about to say.
Yeah, so
No, it wasn't.
I'm very hopeful about the future.
Right.
Of
We'll double back on
It
you, Big
seems
Joe,
bright.
Big K.
America.
It seems bright. It
Good
seems
vibes.
bright.
Good vibes only.
Right.
Definitely. Any more hot topics?
What else did I say? Oh yes.
These
Versus.
chicks.
Calm down. Versus. So I think Thursday night we finally got Ashanti and Keisha Cole versus.
Barely.
And I
From
guess
what I
if
heard.
you guys
Struggle.
watched, they were tardy for their own party.
Tardy for the party.
But as things went along, it was cute, I guess.
I purposely did not watch it because, all right, so it's supposed to start at 8:00.
Yep.
Grownish, the premiere of the season, started
Right.
at 8. I was like, I'm not watching this shit. I'm going to watch Grownish.
Right.
Watched Grownish, went back, of course, at the end star. I was like, this is exactly why I made the decision that I made. So
Yeah, they were late.
they were hella late. Like, Ashanti didn't come on until about 8:54 and was like, hey, y'all. We having technical difficulties, but I'm gonna play this new single. And it just was sitting there listening to the music that the DJ was playing. Like, she was better off staying off. And I had tweeted, I'm like, yo, transparency is everything. Y'all should have said, listen, we running late. Come back at 10.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because everybody kept going in, going out, going in, going out.
If I can just interject,
Yeah.
I think that if Jamaica could do it,
But
y'all don't have any excuse. I mean, I'm not like a huge Keisha or Ashanti fan, but I
Right.
did tune in because I believe in verses. I like
Right.
that nostalgia.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want to say y'all don't have hits for people to be waiting like 3 hours.
They don't.
But y'all don't got hits for people to be waiting 3 hours for.
she said what she said.
Right?
Now,
If it
without
was
saying it.
Beyonce and I don't even
Beyonce's
know
a
who could go
professional.
Like we wait.
Don't
we
even
wait
put
for
her-
She wouldn't even
Yeah.
did that.
I want
We're
Becca to
waiting
finish
for
her
it.
sentence. I
know.
I want
Now,
Becca
I
to
said
finish her sentence.
Beyonce and I was like, I don't even know who she would be able to go.
You
against.
will wait because
Probably a
No.
Rihanna.
oh,
I don't give a fuck who
Oh,
you are.
okay.
I'm not waiting that long.
I
But
wanted to-
Beyonce would not let it be that
She
bad.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
She
When we went to her
wouldn't.
concert, that shit was on time.
Show while we was waiting.
Exactly.
The DJ
It was like-
Khaled would have been up there getting
Right.
the,
Not a
Yeah.
DJ, not a
They
DJ that
would've
don't
been
know how to
going on.
scratch or
Another
mix.
one.
Because the
Yeah.
DJ was trash.
Something would have been happening.
Yeah. No, you're right. You should have said exactly what you just said. Because that's exactly how I felt on Thursday.
It wasn't
like,
worth it.
mm-mm.
I mean, I would tune back in and switch on and switch off and stuff like that. And I mean, I did think that Ashanti has a lot more hits than
Yeah.
Keisha, only because she wrote for different people.
Yeah.
And so I thought, and then she had her whole run with Ja Rule.
Right.
So I did
And that was one hell
appreciate.
of a run.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
even front. It
Yeah.
was.
But you know how everybody's always, you can hear Ashanti on J-Lo's songs because they didn't take Ashanti vocals
funny.
off the track.
Yeah.
So Ashanti, we know you wrote the songs. So
I know somebody was in our
How many
DMs.
other songs were they?
for J-Lo,
Mhm.
I think she played 2 J-Lo songs. But she was telling the story, Love Don't Cost a Thing she played. She was like, I wrote the song for J-Lo. I wrote the song and J-Lo got it. And she was like, I wrote it when I was a teenager. And Puff called me when the song dropped and was like, is this song about me? No, it's not about, we know you
She
wrote
was
the song.
sued. My nigga, she getting money off of that shit.
I'm just saying, she's still
That's
cashing
why
them
she's
checks.
that's why she's so paid, because she's getting royalty checks like
Yeah,
Fendi ones
yeah.
off of J-Lo alone.
Yeah.
They say
I'm not a
writers
fan
make
of
more
her
money
either.
than actual artists.
Oh, we didn't even
Yeah.
talk about J-Lo being at the
Oh, yeah,
inauguration.
she was. Shout out to her manager or whoever be booking
Manny.
her with these gigs because out of all people, it's like J-Lo.
J-Lo?
And I had tweeted, I was like, she gonna let you know that she's Latina with that Spanish. Somebody did the captions and the caption guy was like something in a foreign language.
I know, I seen on Twitter, they was like, yo, they fucked him all the way up.
Like, you know, she
but
was
they're
gonna.
funny because they said that Gaga was going to sing, but J-Lo was going to perform. And they kept on
Right.
saying it. They're like, Gaga's
Sing
going to
versus
sing.
perform, yeah.
And J-Lo going to perform. I'm like,
But it was the same,
dang.
and Gaga actually sounded really good.
Don't play with Gaga. Like Gaga
she
can
got
sing.
vocals.
No, she got
Yeah.
the vocals.
Gaga
I love
can
it.
sing.
She definitely
I
got
love
the
it.
She got
vocals.
vocals.
I liked her outfit too. They said that she looked
They
like
were
she was
talking
a
about the bird.
sponsor from the Hunger Games.
Oh, God. I always say, if J-Lo really
I
had...
didn't see her actual fit.
I always said J-Lo could sing. She'll be right up there with B.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only thing that J-Lo got on B, is acting. And she
yeah.
can't sing. But, so she could sing. She'll be a triple threat. Because
Yeah.
J-Lo...
She's only 2, and
Yeah.
Beyonce's only 2.
two. Yeah.
Yeah. Because she
'Cause she
can't act for shit.
But wait, who we talking about? Beyonce or J Lo?
No, Beyonce.
Beyonce can't
I'm
act.
about to say I watch anything that J Lo is in.
J Lo can act, but she can't sing.
Right.
So it's like
I
they
agree.
swapped. They
Right.
swapped
I
out.
agree.
So yeah, but yeah, Keisha Ashanti. I guess I didn't watch it, and then I guess Keisha's DJ said that she was there on time, but she refused to come
Because
on
her
the
screen was blurry.
Because the screen was blurry.
And Swizzy was like, this is mad disrespectful.
But
It
she's
was.
not like, I think that when you are a celebrity, you need to put things in perspective to your audience, right? So,
Right.
like, are you able to
Demand-
like,
right.
are people going to wait 3 hours for Keisha Cole?
right?
No, like, you need to be
Exactly.
aware of your audience.
Right.
Absolutely. Like
aware of your
time is of the
status.
essence. Like for real. So right, aware of your status.
Mhm.
Like even Lauryn Hill got canceled for being hella late to
And
all
she
her
is
shows.
Lauryn Hill.
It's
I love Lauryn.
Hill.
She's my favorite still.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm sorry, but she be late, I be late.
Right. So we just be
So you're not
because
gonna
we-
judge.
I know, like, but I mean, you just have to like really respect her art and her music.
But but that's the type of person that's like, all right, I'll take it for what it is.
yeah,
Not no Keisha.
Right.
Not
Like,
Keisha,
I'm
no.
sorry.
I don't know who's that person for me that I would be like,
You'll wait.
yeah.
I would probably wait for
Jay.
Rihanna.
For who?
Rihanna.
Okay, Rihanna.
I love Rihanna. I would probably wait for her.
You're
Good
right. I'll
vibe.
wait for Jay.
You will wait for Jay.
You're right.
Did we wait? We didn't even wait for Jay for
Yeah.
the 444 concert or the concert when we went for the Meadows.
Because he's a professional.
Right.
I'm a businessman, not a
That was the year I see him
businessman.
like 3 times. And he
I'ma
was-
handle
was
my
not
business.
late none of the
Damn.
time. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess.
Okay, I'll wait for Jay.
And that's what I said. I'm like, yo, they're messing up the Versus brand.
Right.
Because it's not just Keisha and Ashanti. It's like Versus is late.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Even who was it? Ludacris and
Nelly.
Nelly had
he had real technical difficulties. He still was on there.
Yes.
Frozen like this, but still on there. Like,
Yeah.
while Luda
But
was
you know,
chilling.
women, you
What
know
was
we
your
actually-
favorite one?
My favorite
one?
one, definitely
Beanie.
Beanie Man, and then John Wall and not John Wall,
Oh,
John-
Legend.
Little John.
producers.
Oh, okay.
Little
okay.
John and T-Pain,
Okay.
because T-Pain, like, that was really, really good.
Yeah.
Neo and Johnny was good.
That was a
Yeah,
good
that
one.
was a good
I watched
I liked it, Teddy and
Oh, the
Babyface,
gospel one.
even though it took
That was a really good one.
the gospel
I was like
one
crying.
good. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
The gospel one was really good. They had 2 gospel ones, so both of them was good.
So I mean, their run has been really
Right.
amazing, and you figure it was literally just Swizz and Tim, like, oh, come on, let's battle each other, and it has grown into this whole
Big
brand.
brand, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see who's next.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like they should keep it going,
Yeah.
even after the whole social distance and
Because it all
Virtual
started just
event
playing
shit.
around producers, Just Blaze. Who was it? Just Blaze and
Oh,
who?
yeah.
Just Blaze and was it
forgot the other
Swizzy?
person.
It might have been Swizzy just playing beats back and forth,
Yeah.
like songs that they produced. So, it's definitely blown up since that day. Like, it was probably like
Keep
3
it
years ago.
coming. Keep it coming. We enjoy
Yeah, but keep it
I can't
cute.
wait until we get to the point where we can actually go to a show.
A versus?
And see
Maybe
Versus.
back and forth,
Oh,
and
that's
they
nice.
I
actually
mean,
perform.
yeah. Like if I could have seen Beanie Man and Bunty Killer,
That would have been
person,
entertaining.
I would have been like, that would have been crazy, right?
That would have been entertaining.
Yeah.
Because
That
it was
shit
a
was
great
lit.
show watching them.
They're
Yeah,
performers. They're entertainers.
Definitely performers.
Yeah.
So that was good.
So we'll see. We'll see. Trell, you rooting for anybody black?
Yeah. I was hoping you'd give me a second because I'm trying to catch my breath.
Okay, well,
She
after
is
you
I'm trying to catch my breath from
I
my
know she ran to the bathroom.
impromptu bathroom
She
break.
looked like she was crying.
She was deep breathing. You know how you breathe and you be like, you trying to make
I'm
it
like over
cute.
here trying to
You
be
make it
like,
look cute. Well, I have the you tried
Yes,
it of
let's
the
hear it,
week.
sis.
And it goes to this young girl. She is actually the daughter of the Naugatuck Police Department's chief. She had put on Snapchat that once he became chief, she said, I'll make my dad drive with lights and sirens, and if we see any black people, we will shoot them. Then she also said, my dad is now officially police chief, so that means he's more advanced in shooting black people than he just was a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, that's not subtle
Bitch, you
racism.
In
stupid.
Connecticut, she said that.
No,
In
I'm
Naugatuck?
talking. Yeah.
Yes.
She's stupid.
That's not subtle racism.
So I guess it happened a while back, and these snaps are just like resurfacing.
Oh, okay.
Mind you, the mother is assistant
The
principal
principal.
for Naugatuck High School.
Oh, wow.
So their parents are invested in Naugatuck. So, but my thing is, she didn't learn that from nowhere. They probably was talking
That's
about it
all
at the
learned
dinner
behavior,
table, and she
right?
just brought it out. So
Right.
they have
That's
the
why I'm not
investigation.
like fully giving it to her.
Yeah.
But she's stupid.
Real
How
soon.
old was she?
You can't be doing all that.
They blurred her face because they said she's not of age. So I think
Okay.
she's 17.
Like you can't be saying all that. You just told us in the same breath that your father.
Yep. Those are just two that it says those are just two of the 6 messages that popped up on social media Friday afternoon. Naugatuck's mayor confirms the post contained images of police chief Stephen Hunt's daughter. So
My
I guess
sister-
it was like on the news, the mayor was like, that is not how Naugatuck's police department is ran. We don't condone
Well, we
this.
don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
We don't
right,
know.
We
exactly.
don't know.
Right, because so I know they probably like this little bitch.
Like
got
you
us in some
stupid,
shit.
sis, because now you done
Is he gonna lose
ruined
his
your
job?
father's
So
reputation.
they're still currently employed in both their positions, and they're investigating. I guess it's
What
3
is there to
different investigations. I know it's the bureau investigation. It's the police department themselves are investigating, and it's another investigation. They say it's like 3 different investigations,
So basically, you're investigating to see if he actually got a chance to kill any black people.
right? Or to see if his views are the same. Of
Right.
the
What she's
daughter.
saying.
They said that they should, charge her with criminal, racial profiling.
They should.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
They should.
Because the
they
thing
police are black and brown boys. So, I mean, if that is the kind of behavior that you're promoting, we need to set examples.
Nip
Like
that shit in the bud.
you set examples with our people, then we need to see
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
And how do I trust that that's not your views? Like,
Right.
Because we're right.
And
Where did she get that from? And the
Right.
fact that she felt okay to sit here. Now she put
With
your
her-
job on the line.
with her chest,
confidently.
Yeah.
real
Confidently put your job on the line.
the same way y'all be pulling these Karen's jobs once once they go viral.
Do the same.
Keep this- have the same energy.
Yeah, so
That's
we'll see what
crazy.
happens. I guess they said that they want her to get charges or whatever.
And what
But
kind of
you know what
training is the Naugatuck Police Department getting right now as far as diversity and inclusion and stuff like that?
Exactly.
I would
Not
need to see that.
Yep, exactly. I need all them proof.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
But you know what happens? This stuff comes to light and then it dies down after a while and then it's just business as usual. But it got to be
Exactly.
somebody. The Waterbury, I think the president of the Waterbury NAACP actually was like, I hope that he, acknowledges that we want to sit at the table and have this conversation of what are you doing to prevent these thought processes that your daughter has.
that she
Right.
didn't get from nowhere.
Absolutely.
My
That's what I
OG
said, too.
lives in Naugatuck, and he's a former police officer. And he said, "I know this guy. Like, I'm ashamed because this is my friend."
Oh God, that's the worst, right?
Right.
When your friend
He
is
was
a
like-
racist.
He probably had the
You
guy
are
in
who
his
you
home.
around.
Like,
Right.
damn, they wanted to shoot me or my kids. Like,
Right. Yeah.
That's wild.
it's sad.
It is.
It is. So, bitch. Oh, damn. I'm sorry. No, you're right. You're
right.
You old enough to write that shit, bitch.
that-
You
keep that
tried
energy.
it. Don't you ever get it together.
Oh, I pray for these kids.
She definitely tried to come. My thing is like, yeah, the racism thing, but it's like, sis, you didn't even think about the fact that you about to ruin your whole
Oh,
family's
yeah.
career.
Right.
Absolutely.
Y'all stupid.
And that's gonna follow her forever.
Colleges, right?
Yeah,
Y'all
absolutely.
dumb.
They got her name in the database.
Right.
Like, no,
Right.
Sorry,
Like,
sis.
you just
We can't be associated.
Her roommate
with
gonna
you.
be like,
Should've
"You that
just said
girl
their
that said
age
you
group.
gonna kill black people?"
Right. Kill me, bitch. You gonna,
Right.
you gonna kill me in my sleep? She be gonna get
She
bullied.
be housed by herself.
Yeah.
Commuter
Child.
student.
So yeah, she tried it.
definitely.
Trail, you rooting for anybody black? You good now?
Yes, for the most part, yes. But yes, I'm rooting for. We were talking about the inauguration, so I'm rooting for 2 black
Yeah.
gems. The first one being Amanda Gorman, the youngest inaugural poet in U.S. history. She
Yes,
read
young
her
queen.
poem, "The Hill We Climb," at the inauguration. She was personally selected.
So fitting.
And one day after reading her poem at the inauguration, she is now
One and two.
a best-selling author.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She's number 1 and number 2.
Number 1 and number 2.
And
And
she
the
got
book ain't even come out yet.
She got a job offer.
Yep. So one of her books was already out. Change Scenes is a children's anthem that is now a best-selling novel. And then she has The Hill We Climb, which is available for pre-order on September 21st.
They said it's already sold out.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
That's
she's
awesome.
literally one day after delivering her poem at the inauguration, she is now a best-selling author.
That's the way we
love
elevate
it. I love it.
our people.
Love it.
Energy. And they said that she wore a ring that was given to her by Oprah, and it was
Nice.
the hummingbird. I
Aw.
mean, the cage bird. Yeah, it was a
Nice,
bird in a
nice,
cage.
nice. And I listened to the
For Maya
because
Angelou, you know, it was yeah.
as I mentioned earlier, I didn't get to watch the inauguration, but I did listen to her poem
So
this
fitting.
morning, and so fitting. Yes, right.
They said
I
she
just
was
love it.
done-
Just black girl magic, just
Yeah.
up there, spitting truth, eloquently, looking good while you're doing it. Your melanin on fleek. You
They
know,
said she was halfway done before the riots and everything happened.
Yes, and the
And
day
then
of the
she-
rise, it
Switched to- yeah.
inspired her to finish it.
Yep.
love to see it. Love to
Yeah,
see
she's
it.
dope.
And so we talked about elevating, right? So shout out
Yes.
to Eugene Goodman, who is the military vet, Capitol officer who you saw kind of like deterring the rioters, or
Yeah.
what do we call them? Terrorists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Terrorists. He kind of helped keep them out of the sitting room and like deter them and move them somewhere else. And everybody's been calling him a hero. And so since then he was elevated to acting deputy Senate sergeant.
Yes, get that pay raise.
Right. So he escorted our VP, Miss Kamala
Sure did,
Harris.
with his
Gucci
Gucci
skirt.
skirt.
Did you see the drip?
Yeah, right.
Did you catch the drip? He was like, I'm here.
He was like, some
baby.
people was trying to clown him, like, oh, they was chasing him. They was chasing him. Yeah, chase this.
Right. He was like, different tax bracket.
Right. So he's acting deputy Senate sergeant at arms, which is basically you have the power to enforce all of the rules, basically.
Yes.
So shout
With
out
action.
to Eugene Goodman
Yeah.
for elevating.
And he was so
Leveling
vital
up.
because while you can see, like they said that where he was trying to detour them, Mike Pence and his they were like hundreds.
They
of
were
feet
still
away.
there. Yeah,
The door was open.
They're
Yeah.
saying he saved a lot of lives, and it was just him by himself.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
Holding it down.
and then quick thinking in the moment to how can I keep these people that I'm supposed to be protecting safe?
Yeah.
And then Amanda Gorman for coming and delivering such a powerful speech. We just really
It just was
are
just
loving
so lit.
black.
I mean, that makes
Black
me think
people
of
magic.
like black people carrying this country on their backs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yo, I seen a
it
meme.
doesn't stop.
I seen
Listen.
a meme today or yesterday or whatever, and it was like I forget what it was exactly, but it was somebody on somebody else's back, and the caption has said, "This is basically a depiction of basically America, basically
Right.
with
We thrive
black
and prevail.
women, black people carrying this
We
country
thrive and
on
prevail.
their back."
I forgot what I was watching. I think it was like 2020 Nightline or something like that. They were talking about the events of the riot or whatever. And they were, and one of the congresswomen, I forgot her name, she said, it was a thing to see that after all that, the next day, there were black and brown people who were the cleaning people that was cleaning up our mess. And she said, you know what I realized? Black people always clean up our mess. I said, whoa,
Always.
that shit gave me chills because I'm like, bitch, you're right. You're right.
Like
Why'd
we
I call her bitch?
literally,
I'm sorry.
we literally are the catalyst for everything.
And if
they
you
were
think about
everything.
like Washington D.C., slaves built
Yeah.
that
Built it.
city. And it just makes you feel like, okay, when are we ever going to be held to the standards in which
To
we
higher
should
regard.
be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
Cause we that shit. We the shit.
I know.
Period. Like,
shit.
I know.
Don't even get me started. That's a whole episode in itself. Like,
Honestly.
we create and influence
So
everything
much. So much.
in this
People
world.
appropriate our culture,
Yeah.
our
Always.
physicality. Like now, big butts are in, big lips
Big
are in.
lips.
Like y'all literally are changing your doing damage to your skin
You down
so
us.
that you can look like us.
They tan. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, we
We
live.
digress.
Yes. Right. So shout out to them.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
love
shout
them.
out to Amanda
And
Gorman and
and
Eugene Goodman.
I just want to shout out one person before we move on. Big Bernie for sticking in there and being a meme.
Big Birdie.
And being a meme
Yo.
and making money off of
And
it.
making
Making money off of
making
it.
money and giving it
And giving
back.
it.
That
Giving it
meme is.
back.
I think I
everything.
saw a sweatshirt or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
already.
they said it was like
Yeah.
$45.
He
and
put
the
his
proceeds
meme
go
on some apparel,
Mhm.
sold that shit out, and donated it all to what was it?
Vermont.
Yeah, it's their Meals on Wheels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
shout out
even the lady that made the gloves, she got shine too, and I guess she just like makes them and hands them out like
Uh-huh.
they were for free. And she
But
gave
they
them
did
them.
say y'all did put him everywhere but in the White House.
Okay, listen.
They did say
They
that.
said he looked at like, I gotta run some errands, but let me stop at Joe's thing real quick.
Yo, but the accuracy,
he was at the top.
the accuracy is hilarious.
I want to know what was in that envelope that he had to bring it with him so bad.
Now he had to drop it at the mailbox when he was done. I understand, Bernie.
Yo,
That is
that's so
hilarious.
funny. I love Bernie. yo.
Shout out to Bernie.
Yeah, so we got questions that niggas is asking.
Yeah, so the question that we're asking, this will actually bring us into our topic for today.
Perfect.
It comes from Latif B. Photo of the Rhythm and Brews podcast.
What he want to know?
And the question is there an ideal amount of money to have saved when you want to buy a home?
Oh my gosh, I get this question all the time, right? And it depends on what you're trying to
question.
buy.
Right.
So if you're trying to buy something that is like in a moderate income community, then maybe say your average house price is about $250,000. And so I did the math earlier because I figured this was a question I was going to get. So that's
Be
about
prepared,
$8,000, right? A little bit over $8,000 in which you would have to save if you were approved for a FHA, which is a Federal Housing Authority government financed loan. So you would have to have about 3.5% down, right? Then on top of that, you're going to have to pay other fees. You're going to have to pay, closing costs,
Well,
that kind of like tailors
fits in
into
here.
your down payment, but you're going to have to pay for an inspection. You're going to have to pay for a title search because you want to make sure like that house that's being given to you or what you're actually paying for is not being given to you, that you can get that there's nobody who's not supposed to be on that title. So you're gonna have to pay for a title search. You're gonna have to pay for attorney fees.
Yeah.
I mean, we purchased, my partner and I, or my fiance.
Okay.
And I, my
Fiance.
fiance and I, we recently purchased a house, right? And so our house has a well and septic system. So we had to do a septic test. We had to do a well test because you want to make sure that the water that you're going to drink and cook with is clean. So right there, we're well over about $10,000. Then when you move into that house, people don't really think about this, myself included. Like, you're going to probably want to paint. You're probably going to want to, like, if you have carpet, you're probably going to either want to clean that carpet or rip it up.
Yeah.
And so, like, right now, that's another, like, probably like $5,000. So we're talking anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000. So what you have to do now is think of like, where do I want to purchase? Am I going to purchase in a neighborhood where I get some type of money for closing? So like New Haven has a program, a ton of programs. If you're a Yale employee, you have the Living City, Livable City Initiatives, LCI. You have Yale. If you're a Yale employee, you have a CHAFA. CHAFA is another financing opportunity. So if you're financed through CHAFA, they'll give you like money towards your down payment and things like that. So
And then we talking like $10,000 and $15,000 too.
yeah, so
It's
that's
not little
gonna,
money.
Yeah, so that's going to reduce how much you have to come up with.
Right.
So I would say, like, just to be on the safe side, about 10 to 15,000. It could be less than that depending on the program that you go through, but that would definitely give you a cushion.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
That makes sense.
So I took a homeowners. It was the National Coalition of 100 Women. They did like a home ownership class. which FYI, there's so many free classes and things where you can just get the knowledge.
Or you could call me.
Yeah, exactly. And they were saying how, when the bank says, all right, you're pre-approved for
however much,
300,000.
Yeah.
All right, boom. The first thing is don't get a house for 300,000.
Yeah.
That's number one. Like, give yourself some wiggle room. And they give you your pre-approval based off of the money that you spend. So another thing that you have to do is make sure that you have your bank statements, right?
Yes, taxes.
Pay
2 years of taxes.
2 years worth of taxes. They said make sure your paperwork is on point, because when you don't have your paperwork, that just delays the process.
You're absolutely right.
So they'll look and say, all right, well, you go out to eat all this time. You
Your
spend
debit
gas
card.
on this, da, 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 and that's how they kind of go and say, okay, you can afford such and such, blah, blah, blah. Don't then go and add more debt.
Right.
Because then you're stuck.
Yeah. So banks usually look, I believe, is about 20% of your loan to debt ratio. So like your student loans, like, come on, Joe, we need that 10,000, right? Come on, Joe, we did it. Do it. Get it done, Joe. I'm looking for that real big. So like your student loans, your car payments. Are you paying your car on time? Do you have any repos? Have you ever been evicted from an apartment? All of that shows on your credit history. You're also looking at like your credit card debt. How much are you using your credit card? Are you paying it off every month? So like all of those, back to Rebecca's point, they're looking at all of those things. Are you able to make these mortgage payments every single month?
Right, and be responsible with it.
Yeah.
Now, what do they say about, so you know how there's a lot of people that say, so we are assuming that your credit is very important when you want to get a home, correct?
Correct.
Like that is...
It's very important because the better your credit is, the better interest rate you're going to get. All we really care about around here is my interest rate. And so the better your credit is, the lower interest rates you will qualify for. So we know that interest rates right now are at a historic low. They're raising. I talked to a mortgage broker the other day because I wanted to be prepared. And so they're raising a little bit, but it's still very, very low if you're thinking about going either CHAFA, FHA, conventional. They're on the lower side. So
last I heard, it was like around 3%. So has it?
Conventional's about 3% right now. FHA is about 2.75, but it changes. Every week it changes. So yes, you're right.
Now, say it's 3 right now, and I close right now, will it stay at 3?
It will stay.
Okay.
So I believe the rate is good for like a month. You get like 30 days to like kind of find something and lock something in. I could be wrong about that. I would have to double check.
That's good to know.
So once you go through your pre-approval stage and they give you what your interest rates are and what you're approved for. But I want to go back to something that you said about like not to spend everything that you're qualified for. So we also know that this market is crazy right now. You're going through like multiple offers. You are putting an offer in on a home and the purchase price may be $230,000, but because you want to be seen as like a more serious buyer, you're doing things like, okay, I'll pay all the closing costs. You don't have to give me any concessions, or like I'm offering $10,000 more, $15,000 more. Like I've heard of a scenario that a woman offered 20%, right? On the purchase price of a home and still was outbid.
Damn.
So like I don't even know. I don't even know if we can have that conversation in this market as far as not using everything that's allocated to you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's great.
Unless you want to live
That's
like,
a little sad.
But I've heard also of, say it's husband and wife only going by one person's income. So then that way, if something were to ever happen or that person loses their job, they're still okay to.
I don't know. I don't know if that's ethical.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to comment. I'm not sure. You would have to talk to your mortgage broker or your lender about that. I'm not sure.
Because the house would be in that one person's
name. I've heard of scenarios where the husband's credit may not be strong enough, so it would then go into the wife's name, and he may be because if his name is not on the mortgage, she can then refinance and then put his name on the deed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A question. So, what's the ideal credit
Okay.
What's your ideal credit?
So assuming that we're talking to millennials on this podcast, first-time home buyers, for a FHA loan, it's about a 620.
Okay.
However, no, wait, hold on.
Look, I'm gonna say, I'm more than good.
I'm Gucci, right? No, but with the pandemic and since COVID, lenders are now requiring people who are going for mortgages to have a higher credit score.
Okay.
So they may be asking anything between like 680 and higher, 670 and higher.
You're still
so
good.
That,
Still good.
yeah, that's still good. I mean, I think
Yeah.
if you're going to purchase a home, you should want your credit credit score on the higher side because you want a lower
Low
interest rate.
Obviously.
Yeah, so I would say about like a 680 or higher.
Okay.
We-
But if
we
you
just
really
saying
want
that
the
because I had
right.
went to this, we had went shopping, me and Joanne yesterday, and we were at the store, and they're like, "Oh, do you want a credit card?" And I'm
No.
like, "No,
because we
no."
have a plan. So we
No,
want to purchase a
no,
home. And we were
no.
just talking about things we can eliminate on
Yeah.
our day-to-day of spending.
I'm like, I looked at everything, like subscriptions, all that shit. Like, what can I not do anymore?
So I want to stop using my debit card for gas. I want to stop using my debit card for like frivolous things like eating out and stuff like that. Separate all that, put it on a gift card or something like that. So she was getting.
So I'm like,
she went up, and I was like, is it for the goal? It's helping the goal,
It's
or
helping-
not?
it was helping the goal.
And
Why?
the way the
Because-
lady,
yeah, she sold
explained it.
me.
She was like, go
one,
ahead.
it's a store that I don't go to often. It's Carter's. So it's only one in North Haven. I know.
Girl, let
the
her
baby,
explain.
Whatever. It's one in North Haven and one in Clinton. So I'm like, when am I really going to?
Right.
That's true.
I know. And online is free
was thinking about that
shipping
online.
too. But anyway, so
And she
I
got a
can
bigger
only use it
approval
for
rate,
them
too.
though. So I can't take that same credit card and go get gas, whatever. It's only for clothes.
Right.
Okay.
And they gave me a very substantial credit line.
Okay.
So because they added it to my credit cards that are already paid off,
Okay.
it just looks like I'm using less credit usage.
Yeah, we wanted to know about that too. So is it 30% of your overall credit line, or is it 30% off that particular card?
I believe on that particular card.
okay.
But like when the bank is looking at your ratios, they're looking at your overall
Right.
debt. I don't know. I mean that's something. If you should be showing like a positive like credit score history where you're making payments on time. You're not carrying too many balances. So do you pay? Do you have a car note?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the only thing I have. Car
So
note,
that
I
would've
paid
done
my
that
student
for-
loans off.
Oh, go, girl.
And then that's why I'm pissed about this Joe shit. Because I'm like, damn.
Well, for
I could've
those
saved
of
my
us
little
who-
change.
who
No,
still
she was like,
own-
before she had the baby, she was like, let me pay
I'm
my
like,
student
this is
loan.
one thing I gotta do. But I could have saved that money from
But
myself.
what I'm saying is that your car payment would
Yeah.
show you paying
In
things
good
on
faith.
and stuff. So you didn't really need the credit card. I
Yeah.
mean, but
It
if
was
it's
25% off for that
yeah.
day.
So like if you're gonna use it, then okay.
She still had the money to pay it,
I'm
but-
not the
Right.
person like when I'm working towards a goal, I'm like somebody who likes the finer things in life. I'm somebody who like I enjoy my Starbucks. So I'm not gonna cut out my Starbucks. it can't feel like I am
Depriving yourself.
depriving
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah, that's true.
So like
You still want to live. You still want the house, but you still want to be able to live and enjoy the
enjoy your
yeah,
life,
right. Yeah, I mean, I probably eat out a little too much,
Same.
Right.
but like
Look,
we're not,
same.
but we're not
Same.
going anywhere right,
Right.
now.
Right.
There is really no way to get any.
I've been saying this.
That's
Like,
the only thing you can do.
Eat it, yeah.
Yeah.
So back to your point. Yes, I do think that if you're showing a positive rapport of you like paying things and stuff, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Good. Now, how do you know when you're ready to go into home buying? Like, what should a person do prior to saying, okay, now I'm ready to go to the lender to even get pre-approved?
I mean, I feel like that's a personal question.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
you
You
kind of
know
know
when
when
you're
you're ready. I was looking for like houses like 5 years ago. I was 25. I started my career, and I was like, you know what? I'm so tired of living with me and my mom were very close, but I just wanted my own space. I wanted to be my own woman, and it was not the right time.
Yeah.
I had good credit, but I didn't have any money.
Right.
And that's one thing you have to understand, that good credit does not necessarily correlate in it's time for you to
having
buy a
money.
home.
Right.
So,
That's a fact.
yeah.
That's a big fact.
So like that's something that I had to evaluate. It wasn't the right time for me. And so it took me some time to like take the time to pay off more things and to save up some money. And then once I had a savings that I felt comfortable with, then I was like, okay, now it's the time to start exploring that option. I was looking for houses when I was about 25, then I was looking again at like 27, and then, you know, I didn't end up purchasing until I was 30. But one thing I do want to say, don't let Instagram and the hype pressure you in doing something that you're not prepared to do yet. And you'll know when you're ready. How long have your lender's also going to look at how long you've been with your employer. So what things are you going to have so when you go to the lender, you look attractive for them to give you that money.
Right. That's a big fact. Wow. Yeah, because it's like, and that's what I always say, like, I know when I'm ready, when I can close on the house and be able to fully furnish.
Because that's another thing.
Which not fully.
I was going to say, girl, let me know your tips.
You don't want to go to Raymore and Flanagan and then come out with $30,000 worth of furniture. And it's like, I'm just backtracking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I can at least have some money
That's
saved.
what I was saying a lot, like in the beginning, like pandemic time, where people were like, oh, start a business, buy a house because you're getting this extra money from the government. It's like, it's not that simple because it's like, yeah, I could probably save on my monthly payment with my mortgage versus rent. However, you still have to allocate for household expense, like to make the house function, and then still having money on deck if something happens, because if something go wrong, it's your responsibility, not the landlord.
Right.
So,
and that's what people have to realize.
Yeah.
This is all you.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? You can't call your landlord and say,
like,
hey,
there's
the pipe.
there's nobody to call unless you gonna pay the money.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna assume everybody's like relationship status, but like if you're single, like who gonna mow that grass?
Right.
Like, cause I'm not mowing grass.
Right.
You know what
So
I
much
mean?
more
So
to
like
think
you're gonna
about.
have to pay for landscaping. Who's gonna shovel your driveway? Like that's another thing I'm not gonna do.
And those are expensive, more than just a mortgage.
So
That's
I've
why I
been
talk
looking
about it all the time.
I've been looking into condos, and there's this one condo in Hampton that I fell in love with. Inside is totally remodeled. It's so beautiful. How the condo costs $138,000.
What's the HOAs?
I'm getting there, girl. The mortgage is $1,800. The HOA is $800 a month.
Not worth it.
It's just
a
like,
lot.
and then I saw a house worth $300,000, and the mortgage was about $1,700, and I'm like, it doesn't even add up. And then I looked at the condo. I was like, the condo is so beautiful, but the outside, it looks like the project. I'm like, Joanne,
is that center block?
Worth Ave.
Oh, okay.
But I'm like, even if I was like a dummy and was like, did it? I'm like, I'm pulling up to the projects.
Well, not a dummy.
Right.
We won't say dummy.
Right. No, because we don't know who lived here.
You don't want to, offend anyone.
You're wasting money. Like it really doesn't. $1,800.
Well, like a lot of things, like as a first-time home buyer, that's why you're really entrusting yourself in your agent who knows things. Like I could never, within goodwill, allow my client, a first-time home buyer, to buy in a property where they're going to be paying $10,000 in property taxes. Right?
Yes, that's another
thing you need to be thinking about. Do
And
not
I think a lot of
buy a
people don't
house.
think about
no,
that.
I was obsessed with that.
I don't think a lot of people think about the extra stuff that comes with
It's not
your
owning home.
insurance.
It's not just mortgage.
Yeah, home insurance. If you live in a flood area, you're gonna have to pay flood
flood
insurance.
West
Like,
Haven.
isn't that like a requirement?
Yeah, you're not gonna get along without it,
Right.
So
The shoreline.
and then if you have a child, right? So you want to send your kid to a
Good
good
school
system.
district.
If I'm paying $10,000 in taxes, baby, you better give me some good
Okay.
schools.
Right.
You know,
Because
don't give me no mediocre schools. Like,
Options.
is my kid getting SAT prep? What are they getting?
Yeah.
I just can't. And I love New Haven. Like, I would have purchased in New Haven, but I think that they have to do a little more as far as what you're asking for property taxes that need to be reflected in the school system.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Not a magnet school, because I want to be able to
Yeah.
send my kid to the school across the street.
Right.
And is the school across the street going to make sense for the $10,000 that I'm paying
Right.
in property taxes?
That makes perfect sense.
You be on the board, the teacher parent committee,
Yeah.
and everything.
Like, what's going on here?
Okay.
No,
I didn't know.
there's some because I work in a school system, so there's some school systems that have like great homes in it, but then because somebody was like, why don't you buy a condo in this particular town? I said, because the school is trash. And I don't even have a kid, but I just know.
But it's something that you have to think about.
Right, but I just know, like, the school system is trash.
Yeah.
And because I know the ins and outs now, because I'm in it, I'm like, yeah, no.
And it's just like, it's more than looks. Like, we just like, oh, look, I want my house to have this and I have that. And it's just so cute. And a finished basement, like, it's other things that you have to think about.
I mean, I'm the queen of the wish list. Like, I definitely have a really long wish list. And I don't think the home that I am in now, it's a beautiful house, but it's not my forever home. Right. I think people, especially people in our age, who you may be in this house for maybe the next 5 to 8 years or 5 to 10 years, it may not be your forever home. You should really be thinking on how you can create an asset with that property and not a liability, because a house is a liability if it does not make money for you.
It's true.
I love that you mentioned that, because as I was looking at different things to post for content, that was one of the things I was going to say. Like, your first home might not be your
forever
dream home, and that's okay.
And I think it's funny because, like, our parents and, like, older generations, they did the whole 30-year,
paid it off
and stayed
for 30 whole years. Now you see young people doing the 15 years or having so much down payment that they like might 7. Pay off their house in 10. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, if you are able to do a 15-year mortgage, I highly recommend it. But you're definitely going to be paying higher monthly payments. You probably, if you have 20% down, put that 20% down, because you won't have to pay a PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. And if you go FHA, that doesn't go away unless you refi. So if you refinance, then it will go away. But if you have that loan, you keep that private mortgage insurance on your payments every month.
Because they were saying how, like, our parents' generations, they'll stay at a job for 100 years, where we're like, okay, what's the next thing?
I would
like,
say,
time to
but
go.
that's how you get a higher salary. Like, if you started at that company for $45,000, and maybe they'll increase you to maybe like $30,000 after a 15-year, $30,000 more after a 15-year period. That's still not enough,
right? It's true. We
not
so
for my
ready to be like, okay, what's next? What's next? So, what is the process, like, step by step from beginning to end?
So I'm laughing because someone tried to come for me on Instagram.
It's so funny because I see you post that.
I know. When I was looking at your story, when you were explaining, like, bruh, like,
I wrote her
15-second clip.
I wrote her. I said, did somebody really try to come at you? She was like, girl, yes.
But it's not surprising.
Right.
Yeah. It's not surprising. It's the internet.
She did a cute little TikTok where it was like, get pre-approved, look for a home, closing. Of course it's not that easy.
Right.
So break it down for us.
So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you are in the space to purchase a home. And we just talked about that. Once you find that, you want to get pre-approved. And so one thing you can do is shop around for lenders. You don't have to just go into the Bank of America and be like, I don't recommend going to Bank of America as a lender. But, like, say if you go to a chain like Chase, Bank of America, or something like that, and you're like, okay, I want to apply for a mortgage. You don't have to go with that lender. Right. You can just ask questions like, what are your rates? Like, what are your first time home buyer programs? Get an idea. How quickly do you close? Do you close in 30 days? Do you close in, like, with a pandemic now, people are losing jobs, right? So if you're making me wait 30 days or more to close, anything can happen within that time period. So, like, how quickly do you close? What are your processes? How do you check and vet my information, my tax returns, my pay stubs and things like that? So you go through, like, a whole process in finding a lender. Once you find a lender, you get pre-approved. That's the only time an agent really wants to work with you, because you have to understand, like, this is a commission-based job. So, like, a lender, they want to make sure that you're pre-approved. So once you get pre-approved, then you can, shop your real estate agent too, because you want to make sure that that person has your best interest in mind. Like, when I went through the process, I think, like, I was working with the person for a while. I think that they were a little tired of my shit. And so...
But you want what you want.
You want what you want, right? But, like, is it more important for you to close, or is it more important for you to have a lifelong client, right? And it's a difference. So you want to shop around for your agent, talk to people who have worked with, who's gone through the process, and see who they've used. And then you start your shopping. Do not look at a house you cannot afford. That's like going into the Gucci store and asking for a
Right.
discount.
Right.
Like, we don't do discounts here.
Right.
Especially in this market, you need to have it in your mind that you are going to be paying full asking price unless it's been sitting for a while or something like that. But like right now, houses are
Not so
going
much
like 2 to 3
negotiating.
days. It's not much room for negotiation. But that's where your agent is going to come into play and advise you on what is a good amount for you to offer or if you should offer full asking. Once you go through that, then you're signing, paperwork. You're going to be signing your contract that you are not going to be looking for any other houses during this time because you're under contract. You're going to have an earnest money deposit. So just to let that person know that you are serious. So let me backtrack. Your agent's going to write an offer. So like in that offer, you'll talk about what your earnest money deposit may be. So that may be like $1,000. I recommend in this market if you can beef it up a little bit, like if you can do like 5,000 or a little more,
she ain't playing.
they're going to show you that you're serious.
Right.
So like you're going to have to talk about that. If they accept.
Quick question:
Yeah.
Is that within that's outside of the?
No,
that's
it counts towards a deposit.
Okay.
That's within the $15,000 you said to put aside. Okay. Okay.
Yep. So that's all coming from like the same
Okay.
pool of money. And then they accept your offer. If it's a good world, they accept your offer. And then what you are then doing is you're going through your home inspection. Now, I know a lot of people are like wary of getting a recommendation from their realtor as far as home inspection. So shop around for that, right? You want to make sure that you get a good home inspector because if there's something going on with that house that you don't know and you move into there's nothing you can do.
You can do about it.
You know, a home inspection is like, even if you pay a
Vital.
little more for it, get a good home inspection.
Or even
Yeah.
maybe 2.
I don't
No?
not if you get a good one, I mean,
That's
Right.
true.
you get a good one, go like,
But how do you know if it's good or not?
so yeah.
I also was reading like having like a good land surveyor too, just to make sure like of what like the plans for building are in the neighborhood and
That's
things
important.
like that is
Yeah.
important too.
Yeah, zoning is very important. You should definitely do your due diligence in figuring that out because like if you see some kind of construction going on across the street, don't leave it to your agent to figure it out. Like
Right.
it's actually illegal for your agent to say, oh yeah, I think they're building new houses. Unless that agent is 100% sure, they cannot assume what's going up across the street. So that's you going to the town and asking the town what is going on across the street from 123 Main Street,
Right.
you know?
Right.
That happened in West Haven with all those houses over by like Savin Rock. They bought all those houses and now they're about to do like a big plaza or something.
Yeah,
like
because I was reading like the thought process behind having a land survey done and knowing what's being built and what the plans are. It's so that you're not like buying a home that you're like, okay, I love this home, but then 2 months later
Somebody's
they're
knocking
now
at your
building
door.
like a gun range, for instance. Like, is this something that you want to have
and listen to, right?
or listen to
Or
near your
even
new home? So.
or even like the houses in West Haven when you're coming over the bridge.
Yeah, that's what
Like
I'm
they've
talking
been
about.
they've been living there and they bought all them out.
And they might
The
not buy
rush-
you out at the amount that you need. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
not, they
Yeah.
can't do that.
Oh,
It's
really?
called eminent domain, and with
Okay.
eminent domain, they have to give you what's market value for your home, or it's called I forget the word, condemnation or something like that. So like that means they don't give you what's the value of your home is, and then you can sue them. But with eminent domain, they're supposed to give you what the value is of your
Of your
home.
home.
regardless. Yeah.
But then you have to go through that process all over again.
And
Those
find-
people that lived over there been there forever.
For
like, you know what I'm
years,
saying?
yeah.
So
right, which is different.
Imagine
Even
even
the
the
there
restaurant.
already.
Even the
Yeah.
restaurant that was over there, but that worked out for them because they were in a tight space, and now they're at the old Pizza Hut, so that worked out
Oh,
for them.
okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So it's just basically like a lot of things.
because you'll be like, what in the hell? I'm hearing
Right,
all
because
these
I want to go buy a
gunshots.
house and I'm like, oh, this is the perfect neighborhood. It
Yeah.
seems quiet. It's cool down the street.
The town I work for,
And then next thing you know, you turn around, they build in like, for instance, like a community center across the street from
Yeah.
you. It's like,
Kids.
I don't want that shit
the
nearby.
town I
you know?
work for, there's
So-
a gun range behind an elementary school.
Yeah.
Well, in Cheshire, there's a prison right
Yeah.
across the street from
gosh.
the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to live there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
that really stuck out to me in my reading because it's like, I didn't think about that, but that's like important because when you buy a house, you're buying a house and you're planning to be there for years to come.
Right.
You also
So,
want to know
you
if
kinda
there's
wanna
like
know what's gonna
any
happen.
like easements on the property. So like if you share a property line with somebody and your neighbor has to drive down your driveway, you want to know that, you know?
Yeah, I read that too. Yeah.
Yes, because my property, we have a double lot. So
The mitas.
shut up.
Okay, they that cool. They that cool.
It's not even the mitas. So we have a double lot, but up the street, one of the properties is in the back. So their house is not up front where the street is; it's in the back. So they want to buy my second part of the property. To make their backyard or to build a property on there. Yeah. So the guy offered $5,000.
That's not enough.
It doesn't sound like enough at all.
No.
$5,000 sounds cheap as hell.
So I was like, $5,000. You want to build property on my property and you want to give me $5,000. Imagine he built something for like a unit and he's going to make way more than $5,000.
And block you in.
Right. So I went down to City Hall and I said, can you show me my property line. How much is it worth? But I think he had someone in City Hall, and I guess they tipped him off that I went down there questioning. And so
you ain't gonna get it. Period.
So the guy, he's never even looked at me after that. So then the guy was like, I suggest you going to a lawyer.
Yeah, I read that too as one of the things to like. Look
team.
Into like your
make sure you know where your property
like what is
what do you own?
What it belongs to you, what do you have the right?
Because I'm pretty sure Maylene did not know.
I mean,
she
I
had
can
a double
give you
lot.
recommendation of a really good zoning lawyer. We're not going to give any free plugs right here, but I'll let you know of a really good
zoning. Pay for this.
Right. Yeah. But there's another question I had. So, okay, what if I wanted to build ground up? So like on an empty lot. So do I pay? So do I buy the land?
You buy the land,
and then
then you would. It depends on if you're buying in like a development. So if you're buying within a development, you buy the land first, and then they'll build you a house for whatever you're approved for.
Okay.
And then
that's all that money. That's all one. It's not like I buy the land and then that's a separate money for the house.
Yes, it's. Two different.
Oh,
and if you were doing a loan, it would be two different loans, unless it's in a subdivision, like where they're building that, a cul-de-sac or something like that, where they'll be able to package everything for you. But from my understanding, it's like two separate. I could be wrong, but two separate.
No, it makes sense.
That does make sense.
So you buy the land and then you get
pay a contractor or whoever to actually build
the house,
which is separate.
But I don't recommend. For my millennial babies out there, I don't recommend us buying like in Connecticut, I should say, because I know in Georgia they
all the time.
They be throwing them things up like
all the time from the ground up, and it's gorgeous.
Right.
Down south.
But they be throwing them things up like nothing. But like here, where the values it's a little more higher, I do recommend buying something that is previously built. Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah. I definitely. Yeah.
But I haven't seen anyone ground up here really, unless it's the development, but it's usually down south. So I was just wondering, like, okay, so do they purchase the land and then? Okay,
there's also
I did hear, but they got two lots in Africa too. So I mean, they
got money
from the ground. Yeah,
they got the money.
Yeah, they're different.
There's also a thing too with buying like a pre-built home. You could buy one that's like made like off into like,
and they just drop
at
it
a factory and they like drop it.
They're called like manufactured homes.
Yeah. So
what?
That's an option.
I mean, they said that Lowe's or Home Depot. I forgot where it was, and it was something like that. Like they just drop it, and it was hella cheap too. Somebody was
I like an actual brick and mortar that was built traditionally. That's just me.
I would like that too. Yeah.
But because I do hear people do that.
Yeah, and it's like I can change this from looking like this to that. Like,
and if we go through a hurricane or something, I want the house to stand.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I don't want it to just start gliding.
Yeah. Like the three pigs, like when you blow their house up.
It's a no for me.
So can you explain rent to own? Like, how does that work? Is that
my God.
Basically? Like, go ahead, tell us.
Okay, so for a rent to own, you would have to have a contractual agreement with the owner, and they'll say, okay, once you get to a certain percentage, then I will sell you this house. For rent to own, I mean, if you really love that house, then okay, you can do it, but it'll be a while before you actually get to the amount in which the person would be happy with to give you that house.
So all right, say the house is worth 200,000, and they say, all right, well, you could rent to own up to 150,000, and once you finish at 150, then I'll sell it to you for 200.
It could be like a mixed method. It could be you aren't able to get pre-approved for $250,000, so you're living in that property and renting it for a certain amount, and
Until
once you get to that amount, then you can go in and get a mortgage for it. It could also be a scenario where I've heard of like the property owner trying to get a mortgage for the person, and that person will pay the property owner. So there's different scenarios. I mean, for me, for rent to own, I think that there's a lot of liabilities in that. You don't know if that person is going to run off with your money. Even though you have a contract, anything can happen. If that person dies, then that contract was with the deceased. It wasn't with their with their estate. So
they can kick you out.
Anything can happen. So I think it's too much risk for me. Like, my money is important to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Ooh. So what are some programs that a person here locally can look, or even, in their towns, that they can look for those like closing costs and things like that?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, there's LCI in New Haven. If you're a vet, vets really have a really nice deal, as they should. You can do a VA loan, which is 0% down. You also have the FHA, as I mentioned. You have CHAFA. You also have programs in Hampden where you can get, I think it's like $5,000 towards your closing costs, but you have to live in 065, what is it, 14?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, or 17. You can't be in 06518, which is like the upper part of Hampden, like Cheshire.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
funny.
and you have to check with your town. Like, some towns do have programs, like Waterbury has a program.
Yeah.
And those taxes are high.
Yeah, Waterbury.
Yeah. I mean, Waterbury is an interesting town only because it was historically industrial town, and none of those industries. It was Timex there at one point, and there's really nothing there. So you see a lot of people who are leaving New York City and going to Waterbury because the property values are so low.
Yeah.
Waterbury's interesting, but those are some. I recommend really researching in with the town that you are looking to buy.
Right. Because it's different ones.
It varies. It varies depending on areas.
Yeah,
and if you're a teacher, there are incentives for teachers.
Human resources, because they might actually have something for your job. I did see a website, it's www.chfa.org.
CHAFA.
Yeah, / home buyers, for first time home buyers guide. It kind of like,
that's very similar to FHA, but they have higher restrictions, and they'll give you a down payment towards or they'll help you with your down payment. But with that, they're higher.
And that's what somebody else said. All these grants and stuff are
they
nice,
have deep
but
restrictions.
They do have restrictions.
Yeah.
Whereas one of them, you might have to live in the house
for 5 years or something like. Yeah.
You have to stay for.
I mean, but like, I think that if you are going to get any equity out of a house, then I think you would. If you're looking to live there, you should probably stay there for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
I would think.
5 years goes by fast.
It goes by really fast.
That kind of deterred me in the beginning when I was thinking about like buying a home. I'm like, I don't want to buy a house and have to be there for 5-7 years. But then I was reminded of the fact that you can make it an investment property.
Yeah.
Like, not if you go through those programs, though.
Right. Not if you do that.
You technically have to live there.
Right. Not if you go through the program. Outside of that,
yes.
I was thinking about the fact of like, I don't want to buy a home and have to like stay here, for X amount of years.
But like that program say, all right, it's 5 years. You could say, all right, I'm going to get a duplex. I'm going to stay on one side. I'm going to rent off the other side.
That's
After
the
that 5
smartest
years,
thing. I really recommend, if you have the tenacity to be a landlord, be a landlord, because then you're going to be approved for more money because they're going to look at that property as income. So like, say if you were only approved for $200,000, which there's not much in this market that you can get for $200,000, depending on where you want to live, I should say, depending on where you want to live. But then they'll give you a little more because that property is seen as an income.
Say, all right, this is worth $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
But if you live in New Haven, if you want to live in New New Haven, you can really get some good rents in New Haven.
It's true. It is very true. So I'm so excited. Those who want to buy a home or have interest in buying a home, please make sure you reach out to Kayla.
Katie Modern Living.
Katie Modern Living, right?
Yes,
I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Do you have a business card? To
I
leave
have
with us?
plenty
Okay.
of
And, you
business
know,
cards.
Black
Yeah.
owned. Everything.
That's it. Yes.
So-
She gonna get you right. Okay. So, but the key things are making sure you feel comfortable before starting.
Don't
the
rush
journey.
into it.
Don't
Right.
rush into
And
it.
don't let anybody else try to rush
No.
you into it.
Save that money,
Make
get
sure
that
you
credit
have a
up.
nice cushion of savings. And make
Save
sure
your income taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Save your
that's
income
so
taxes.
much-
the extra money you get, if it's extra money.
Yeah.
Put it towards it. It adds up quickly.
That
It
3,000 you about to get for each kid, you know.
Put it down.
We might be
I
going
mean,
to
we're not
Disney with
saying,
that. No, I'm
like-
kidding.
We're not saying don't buy groceries. If you
Yeah.
gotta buy
Right,
groceries, buy
right.
groceries.
Right, 'cause you
However,
still want
if
to be-
it's extra money,
Yeah.
use it wisely.
Because you still want to have a home, but you still want to be able to enjoy the home that
Right,
you are in.
right.
You don't want to be working so hard that you can't.
That
even
you
be
can't-
home to
yeah.
enjoy it.
Right.
And you don't wanna be
Keeping in
house
mind
poor.
that it's not
Yeah.
just the mortgage.
And can I make a recommendation?
Absolutely.
I do recommend some books that you can read that helped me. Is a Dave Ramsey Money Makeover.
Money makeover.
That one's helpful, and Rich Dad Poor Dad is
Rich Dad,
that book actually changed my life. So I recommend those two books.
Yeah, and you have to understand, like these homes, like the folks, the white people, they give those homes to their kids.
Don't even get me started on that. Do we have time?
Listen, we don't, because I was watching Shark Tank. It was two 22-year-olds that were up there with no debt. They didn't own any. They owned their business, and they were on Shark Tank. 22. They both stopped going to college, but they were able to do that because no debt, and they were given so much. So let's change the narrative. Let's try to give to our children.
Build
and
generational
our children's
wealth.
Children, generational wealth. Yeah, definitely. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Joe, do you have a positive vibe for us this week?
Yes. So this is like one of my favorite scriptures. My grandmother is a master's class professor at a Bible college, and this is their their scripture that they use: "Study to show thyself approval. A
To
workman
God.
needed not
to
be ashamed, but rightly divide the word of truth."
That was one of my scriptures when I was a kid. I
So
still
basically, do your research, do your due diligence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. I don't really have a word this week.
Amen. Shama.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kayla, for being
Thank you for
on.
having me.
You guys, make sure you follow her. Make sure you rate, subscribe, review to this episode. We love you guys. Until next time.
And we'll see you at our vision board party.
Oh, yeah. Our vision board party
Oh.
is this Friday. Shout out to the people that purchase. It's free, but shout out to people that RSVP'd and got their
Yes.
tickets. It's going to be a loads of fun.
Yes.
I actually just finished the
Itinerary.
timeline, the itinerary for the night. So it's going to be a great time. And y'all going to have your little houses on your vision board, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
So, yeah.
Write
Stay
a
tuned.
vision.
Get
write
your
it
drink
out.
of choice.
Yes.
Make it plain.
It's lit.
Maybe
Love you
I'll
guys.
come. That'd be fun.
Yes. We got you, sis. All right. Love you guys. Bye.
Toodles.
Bye.